national council, Shishika Deep Person, integrated managers and framework for governance and sustainable development.
நம் நாடாளுமன்ற தொடங்கி நம் நாடாளுமன்றத்தையும் தொடங்குவோம்.
Let us all stand for national anthem followed by Kalabita Bhavati and Bhavati Bhavati. May I request Honorable Governor, Chancellor, Vice Chancellor, and all the dignitaries on the dais to light the lamp.
நம் அழகப்பா பல்கலைக்கழகம் கல்விப்பணி மட்டுமின்றி சமூக சூழலியல் அக்கறையுடன் செயல்பட வழிநடத்தி தரவரிசையை சிகரங்களில் எட்டிப்பிடித்து மேலே முன்னேறி சென்ற அழகா செயல்படும் ஆற்றல்மிக்க மூத்த பேராசிரியர் சிறந்த விஞ்ஞானி திறமையான நிர்வாகி நம் அழகப்பா பல்கலைக்கழகத்தின் மாணவர்களே மதிப்புக்கான பேராசிரியர் கலையா அவர்களை வரவேற்புரை வழங்குமாறு பணியாளர்கள் கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறோம்.
May I request Professor G. Venkati, Vice Chancellor of Ahmedabad University, to deliver the welcome address.
அனைவருக்கும் என்னுடைய இனிய மாலை வணக்கம். I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to the two-day National Conference on Vishesh Bharat 2047, Integrated Humanism as a Framework for Good Governance and Sustainable Development. I deeply a great privilege and honor to welcome our Honorable Governor and the Chancellor of our University. The Honorable Governors, illustrious life employees, service integrity and intellectual depth, born in Patna, the historic ancient Pataliputra, a celebrated cradle of wisdom and governance. The Honorable Governor has inherited the enduring values of their noble heritage. He began his professional journey as a journalist before joining the Indian Police Service, where his dedication to duty and pursuit of justice won him respect. His meritorious service in the Kerala Police, the Central Bureau of Investigation, and the Intelligence Bureau reflected his deep commitment to transparency, accountability, and public welfare. Notably, he led major anti-corruption initiatives and played a key role in peace restoration efforts in sensitive regions such as the Northeast and Jammu and Kashmir, earning nationwide respect for his integrity and statesmanship. His scholarly interest in human migration and social transformation in South Asia highlights his intellectual curiosity and compassion for humanity's shared destiny. Having served as the governor of Nagaland and now serving as the governor of Tamil Nadu, he continues to guide governance with vision and moral conviction. His life and leadership beautifully mirror the principles of integral humanism, placing the human being at the center of governance and progress guided by ethics, empathy, and sustainability. His distinguished career stands as a living example of how wisdom, courage, and compassion can together contribute to a just, peaceful, and progressive nation. I once again welcome our Honorable Governor with deep respect and gratitude. Welcome, Mr.
I am extremely pleased to extend a very warm welcome to our distinguished chief guest, Dr. Vinay Shahasabudri,
President Indian Council for Cultural Education, Government of India. He has graciously consented to deliver his special address at this national conference. He is a distinguished scholar, parliamentarian, and thinker known for his insightful contributions to the formulation of public policies, political education, and governance reforms. A former member of Parliament, he has played a pivotal role in promoting cultural diplomacy, intellectual exchange, and the philosophy of integral humanism in governance and development. As President of ICCR, Dr. Shahasabudri has been instrumental in strengthening India's global cultural outreach and fostering international cooperation through cultural and educational initiatives. His scholarly pursuits and leadership reflect a harmonious blend of tradition and modernity that resonate deeply with the vision of Vishesh Bharat 2047. We are privileged to have him with us today to share his profound insights on how integral humanism can guide India's journey towards inclusive and sustainable development. I wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. We are delighted to extend a very warm welcome to Professor Panjanathan, Vice Chancellor of Gandhinagar Rural Institute and former Vice Chancellor of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University Chennai, who have joined us to offer this felicitation in this conference. He is a distinguished academician, visionary administrator, and eminent scholar with over 3 decades of rich experience in higher education, research, and institutional development. He has served in several key academic and leadership capabilities, making significant contributions to teacher education, management studies, and rural development in alignment with the Gandhian values and national priorities. As Vice Chancellor of Gandhinagar Rural Institute, he continues to inspire transformative educational practices that integrate knowledge with the community development and sustainable living. His leadership embodies the principles of holistic education, value orientation, and human-centric progress that resonate with the ideals of Viksit Bharat 2047. We are privileged to have Professor Panjanathan in our midst today. Welcome you, sir. I am extending my very warm welcome to Public of Parliament, former Vice Chancellors, former Member of Legislative Assembly, Mr. Raja, faculty members, administrative staff, present media, my students, and ladies and gentlemen. I wish to congratulate the organizers for choosing a theme that is both visionary and relevant. The idea of Viksit Bharat 2047 invites us to visualize a nation that is not only economically strong but also morally sound, socially inclusive, environmentally responsible, and spiritually enriched. In this journey, the philosophy of integral humanism, as advocated by Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyaya, offers us a profound framework of guidance. Integral humanism reminds us that true development is not measured merely by GDP or technological progress, but by the well-being of every individual and the harmony between human beings, society, and nature. It advocates a balanced approach where material advancement goes hand in hand with moral and spiritual growth. It calls for governance that is people-centric, transparent, accountable, and deeply humane. Good governance in this context means not just efficiency in administration, but empathy in action. It means policies that empower the last person in the queue, the Antyodaya principle, ensuring that the benefits of progress reach every home and every individual. It means governance guided by ethics, justice, and compassion, not by mere political expediency. Similarly, sustainable development must be rooted in ecological balance, local wisdom, and community participation. Gandhian principles of self-reliance, simplicity, and trusteeship align perfectly with the vision of integral humanism. Together, they form a uniquely Indian model of development, one that celebrates progress while preserving our planet and our cultural values. As educators and scholars, our role is to translate these ideas into action through research, curriculum, and commitment engagement. Our universities must become laboratories of social innovation where knowledge serves humanity and learning leads to transformation. Let us remember that Viksit Bharat is not merely a government program or a political slogan. It is a national movement of conscience. It demands from each of us, whether in classrooms, offices, villages, or cities, a renewed sense of responsibility to build a nation that reflects the best of our civilization and aspires to the highest ideals of humanity. Let us strive for an India that grows not only in wealth but also in wisdom, not only in power but also in purpose. Let integral humanism be our campus. Let Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam be our guiding spirit. At this juncture, I humbly say that Adama University has been striving to follow these principles, guided by a vision of its founder, Dr. R. Madhava Chettiar, and nurtured by a lineage of visionary leaders. The university continues to demonstrate how education can be a tool for both individual empowerment and national development. With a strong commitment to quality, innovation, and inclusivity, Adama University has emerged as a beacon of holistic education, blending academic excellence with social responsibility. The university's remarkable achievements in research, outreach, digital transformation, and skill development mirror the very principles of integral humanism. Its initiatives in community engagement, environmental awareness, women empowerment, and rural development align seamlessly with the idea of sustainable and equitable progress. Moreover, the institution's emphasis on values, ethics, and experiential learning ensures that graduates do not merely seek employment but embrace enlightened citizenship ready to contribute meaningfully to the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. The numerous recognitions and national awards received by Adama University, including the International Higher Education Excellence Award 2024, are not just symbols of success but testaments to its consistent commitment to nation building through education. Adama University has secured 14th rank in state public universities category under the National Institutional Ranking Framework 2025 declared by Ministry of Education, New Delhi. QS World Ranking has assessed the performance of Adama University. Adama University is placed at the 32nd position in QS India ranking and the 67th position in QS Southern Asia ranking and 285th position in QS Asia University ranking. Under Times Higher Education ranking, Adama University has been placed in 251 to 300 bandwidth in the Asia University ranking, and the university has been placed in the 201 to 250 bandwidth in the World Young University ranking. Further, Adama University has shown remarkable improvement in Times Higher Education World University ranking 2025, and it is placed in the 801 to 2000 bandwidth in 2025. Adama University is nominated for the WCDM DRR Awards, that is Disaster Risk Reduction Awards in 2024 by the Disaster Management Initiatives and the Convergence Society, New Delhi. Despite being one of the young universities located in a rural background, Adama University has been doing very well in research and development, which could be seen in its current impressive achievements of 133 with 12,400 publications. Adama University faculty members have filed 59 patents from their research work, and the 37 patents were granted recognition in new inventions. It is with a real joy I like to state that India is poised for remarkable growth in every sector in the years to come. In this context, I like to remind the youth of the plenty of opportunities available in the country. Only you have to find them out. You must utilize them for your own progress and also for nation's growth. To come up in life, you need skill. Skilling the youth has become the priority of the state and central governments. Skill combined with the sustainable hard work alone can bring you success, contributing to your personal growth and national progress. Every youth should ever be conscious of this fact and strive to achieve greater things in life. Among the sustainable goals declared by the UN, combating global warming is given top priority by every nation today. India's campaign to create a clean and green India is a great initiative. Keeping the environment green and clean is the first step in combating global warming. And I would like to say that Adama University has been protecting the green cover ever since its inception. I am proud to say that in the past 3 years, I have completed the university community to plant more than 10,000 saplings on the campuses. We are very careful about rearing them in the initial stages of the growth. When they grow taller, it would make the campus more greener, bringing many benefits. Twice in recent years, we have received the Green and Clean Campus Award. NSS and NCC volunteers from all colleges and other education institutions should aim serious interest in this aspect of growing trees. I exhort everyone, especially the youth, to propagate this ideal as a mission in their life. Growing trees will bring many benefits for the nation and posterity. I am happy to share that Adarabpa University has received the award of RTA and Sustainability in Environmental Campus. This environmental award shows our initiatives towards sustainable development. It is a proud movement for all of us, and it reflects our collective efforts towards transparency, responsibility and sustainable growth. Community engagement is an essential component of its academic framework. One of its most impactful initiatives in this direction is the Village Extension Program, a unique model that bridges higher education to rural development. Under this program, the final year students of the university departments stayed in 46 adopted villages. Adarabpa University was the first university in India to introduce the village placement program as part of its regular curriculum, thereby institutionalizing social responsibility within the learning process. The program not only sensitizes students to rural realities, but also fosters leadership, empathy, and problem-solving abilities through experiential learning. Through sustainable efforts such as the village placement program, Adarabpa University reaffirms its mission of transforming education into a powerful instrument of social change, nurturing graduates who are not only academically competent but also socially conscious and community-driven. Let us take pledge to work with the unwavering commitment towards sustainable development, so that by 2047 our nation shines with the excellence in every sector. We are only saying that our state has achieved a gross enrollment ratio of 52%, but the real educationalist means they should be free from any kind of corruption practices. Otherwise, claiming 52% GER is totally meaningless. We should take credit that we should not sell our voting power, and we should love our country with the full of patriotic feeling. It is the right time to welcome the highly skilled Indian population working abroad to serve for our mother nation, because self-reliance is more important by this time. Once again, I extend my very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you. Nandri Manaka.
Thanks to the Vice Chancellor for bringing great initiatives such as solar power, green energy project, green hydrogen research and conservation project, enhancing the campus facilities and user amenities. Thank you, Professor. It's a time to honor the Honorable Governor Chancellor and dignitaries. May I request our Vice Chancellor to honor Honorable Governor Chancellor of Adarabpa University with a short and memento.
முதலாவதாக நம் தமிழ்நாட்டின் மேதகு ஆளுநர் நம் பல்கலைக்கழகத்தின் மாண்புமிகு வேந்தர் அவர்களுக்கு நம் மாண்புமிகு துணைவேந்தர் அவர்கள் பொன்துளி அணிவித்து நினைவு பரிசு வழங்கி சிறப்பு செய்வார்கள். நமது மதிப்பிற்குரிய சிறப்பு விருந்தினர் இந்திய அரசின் கலாச்சார உறவுகள் மன்றத்தின் தலைவர் முனைவர் வினய் சகஸ்ரபுத்தே ஐயா அவர்களுக்கு நம் மாண்புமிகு துணைவேந்தர் அவர்கள் பொன்துகில் அணிவித்து சிறப்பு செய்வார்கள்.
May I request our Vice Chancellor to honor Dr. Vinay Sahasrabudhe, President of Indian Council for Cultural Relations of India. With a short and memento.
தற்போது சிறப்பு விருந்தினர் காந்தி கிராமிய கல்வி நிறுவனத்தின் மரியாதைக்குரிய துணைவேந்தர் முனைவர் என் பஞ்சநாதம் அவர்களுக்கு நம் மாண்புமிகு துணைவேந்தர் அவர்கள் சிறப்பு செய்வார்கள்.
May I request the Vice Chancellor to honor Dr. N. Panchanath, the Vice Chancellor of Gandhinagar Rural Institute, the short amendment.
அடுத்ததாக நம் மாண்புமிகு துணைவேந்தர் பேராசிரியர் க. ரவி ஐயா அவர்களுக்கு இந்த மாநாட்டின் ஒருங்கிணைப்பாளர் பண்டிதர் தீனதயாள் உபாத்யாயர் இருக்கையின் பேராசிரியர் முனைவர் டி. தர்மலிங்கம் ஐயா அவர்கள் பொன்தூக்கில் அணிவித்து நினைவு பரிசு வழங்குவார்கள்.
May I request Professor P. Dharmalingam, Chair Professor Pandit Deen Upadhyaya Chair, to honor the Honorable Vice Chancellor.
அடுத்ததாக நம் மாண்புமிகு பதிவாளர் பேராசிரியர் ஆ. செந்தில்ராஜன் ஐயா அவர்களுக்கு பேராசிரியர் தர்மலிங்கம் ஐயா அவர்கள் சிறப்பு செய்வார்கள்.
May I request Professor P. Dharmalingam, Chair Professor of Pandit Deen Upadhyaya Chair, to honor our beloved Registrar.
அடுத்ததாக இந்த இரண்டு நாள் மாநாட்டின் ஒருங்கிணைப்பாளர் பண்டிதர் தீனதயாள் உபாத்யாயர் இருக்கையின் பேராசிரியர் தர்மலிங்கம் ஐயா அவர்களுக்கு நமது வேலூர் ஆளுநர் அவர்கள் பொன்தூக்கில் அணிவித்து சிறப்பு செய்வார்கள். பணியுடன் கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறோம்.
May I request Honorable Lord Chancellor of our University to honor Professor P. Dharmalingam, Chair Professor Pandit Deen Upadhyaya Chair.
கடந்த 3 தசாப்தங்களுக்கும் மேலாக கல்வி, ஆராய்ச்சி, நிர்வாகம், சமூக வளர்ச்சி, மகளிரியல், கிராமப்புற வளர்ச்சி, தொழில்திறன் கல்வி உள்ளிட்ட பல்வேறு துறைகளில் அர்ப்பணிப்புடன் சேவையாற்றியவர். டாக்டர் APJ அப்துல் கலாம் ராஷ்டிரிய புரஸ்கார் முதலான பல விருதுகளை பெற்றவர். 2019ஆம் ஆண்டு தொடங்கப்பட்டது முதல் பண்டிதர் தீனதயாள் உபாத்யாயர் இருக்கையில் பேராசிரியராக திறம்பட இயங்கி வரும் முனைவர் டி. தர்மலிங்கம் ஐயா அவர்களை கருத்தரை வழங்க அன்புடன் அழைக்கிறோம்.
May I request Professor P. Dharmalingam, Chair Professor Pandit Deen Upadhyaya Chair of our University, to deliver the thematic address.
Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu and Chancellor of Allahabad University, esteemed dignitaries, respected Professor G. Ravi, Vice Chancellor of Allahabad University, Dr. Vinay Sankar, President, Indian Council for Conservation New Delhi, Professor Dr. A. Manandan, Vice Chancellor of Gandhinagar Rural Institute, Professor A. Chandra, Registrar of Allahabad University, distinguished delegate members of Allahabad University, invited speakers, delegates, guests and fellow participants, a very good morning to you all. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you all to this national conference on Vision for 2047, Integral Tourism as a framework for good governance and sustainable development. This conference marks a significant academic and intellectual milestone as a collective delivery on the philosophical and pragmatic combination that will guide India's journey towards becoming a nation border, a developing nation. By the century its independence in 2047, as India stands at a historic juncture, poised between its rich civilizational legacy and its aspiration for global leadership, the theme of this conference attains a profound relevance. The vision of Vision for 2047 encapsulates not only the ambition of economic prosperity and technological progress, but also the moral, cultural and ecological imperatives that define true human advancement. It is also known as to envision a development paradigm that is inclusive, equitable and sustainable one that nurtures both the material and spiritual dimensions of life. In this context, the philosophy of integral humanism, articulated by Pandit Deen Upadhyaya, provides a comprehensive and deeply rooted framework for reimagining India's developmental discourse. Unlike materialistic or utilitarian models that prioritize economic gains, integral humanism emphasizes the holistic development of the individual, society, and nation in harmony with nature and divine. It envisions a synthesis between tradition and modernity, self-reliance and global engagement, individual freedom and collective responsibility. In essence, it seeks to humanize the process of development by placing the welfare of the last person and youth at the core of the governance and policy. This conference, therefore, serves as an academic endeavor to revisit and reinterpret economic as a guiding framework for good governance and sustainable development in contemporary India. It aims to create a scholarly platform for interdisciplinary law that transcends disciplinary silos and bridges the domains of philosophy, economics, political science, management, education, and environmental studies. The objectives of such conference are threefold. First, they examine the philosophical foundations of individualism and its continuing relevance to India's socio-economic transformation. Second, to explore its practical applications in the domains of governance, education, and public policy. And third, to formulate policy insights and recommendations that can guide India's journey towards the sustainable development goals while remaining rooted in its civilizational ethos. We are deeply honored today by the presence of the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, who has graciously consented to preside over this inauguration. His esteemed presence lends immense dignity and inspiration to our proceedings. We are equally privileged to welcome Professor G. Ravi, Vice Chancellor of Alappa University, whose visionary leadership has consistently promoted research and innovation rooted in national values. We extend a warm welcome to Dr. Vinay P. Saraswathy, Professor of Indian Council for Conduct Relations New Delhi, who will deliver special address and illuminate us with his insight on the intersection of culture, governance, and development. We are also honored to have with us Professor N. Panjandan, Vice Chancellor of Gandhi Memorial Institute, whose life and work epitomize the Gandhian ideas of self-reliance and rural empowerment. This two-day conference is structured into 5 thematic technical sessions featuring leading lecturers, integrated talks, and both online and offline presentations. The delivery will revolve around 3 broad thematic areas: human development, cultural governance foundations, and sustainable development. Within those overarching themes, the conference will engage with crucial subtopics such as value-based education and the role of Indian knowledge systems in shaping ethical citizenship, empowering youth through skill development and innovation, fostering holistic human capital and leadership rooted in moral values, human development as the one of social justice, the interpretation between individualism and individualization, and sustainable economic development and harmonious prosperity with economic balance. By integrating these themes, the conference is to contribute to an intellectual view orientation of development thinking, away from fragmented and purely techno-critical approaches to a holistic, human-centric model of growth. In doing so, it affirms that India's pathway to 2047 must be built not only in economic policy and economic innovation, but also in ethical governance, cultural consciousness, and social responsibility. The deliberations and outcomes of this conference are expected to generate valuable insights and policy recommendations that will aid both academic discourse and practical governance. More importantly, it will create an ecosystem of scholars and practitioners committed to aligning India's development vision with the principles of intergovernmentalism. Principles that advocate balance over excess cooperation, over competition, and duty over mere rights. As we commence our deliberations, let us remind ourselves that the idea of mixed power is not confined to infrastructure or economic metrics alone. It is fundamentally a vision of human flourishing, a society that embodies harmony between man and nature, individual and community, tradition and innovation. By revisiting the philosophy of intergovernmentalism, we rediscover a framework that not only guides economic and political systems, but also nurtures the moral and cultural foundations of our collective life. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants and the contributors from across India for the solid engagement and commitment to this cause. I also express my deep appreciation to the organizing committee, faculty members, and students whose dedicated efforts have made this national conference possible. Let this gathering be more than an academic exercise. Let it be a collective reflection on how we, as a nation, can integrate ethical values with scientific progress, self-reliance, with inclusivity and critical commitment with spiritual education. To meaningful dialogue and shared vision, may we reaffirm our commitment to building a justice world, grounded in the ideas of intergovernmentalism, where development is not just measured by growth, but by goodness. Thank you.
செய்தவர் இந்திய கலாச்சார உறவுகள் மையத்தின் தலைவர் முனைவர் வினய் சி சகசரபுத்தே ஐயா அவர்களை சிறப்புரையாற்ற வருமாறு பணிவன்புடன் கேட்டுக்கொள்கிறோம்.
May I request Dr. Vinay P. Sahasrabudhe, President of Indian Council of Cultural Relations, Government of India, to deliver the special address.
Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu and Chancellor Shri R.N. Ravi ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor of this university known for its remarkable academic stature, Professor G. Ravi, Vice Chancellor of the Gandhi Gram Institute, Shri N. Pancharatham ji, Professor Dharmalingam, who is the Indian Upadhyaya Chair here in this Allahabad University, also the registrar of this university, and my friends, members of the academia, students, ladies and gentlemen. Vanakkam to you all. முதலாவதாக என்று முன்னால் குடியரசுத் தலைவர் APJ அப்துல் கலாம் அவர்களின் பிறந்த நாள் என்று I know that this land, this wonderful land of Tamil Nadu, is known for many national heroes. And one of them was APJ Abdul Kalam, whose birth anniversary the entire nation is celebrating today. So I offer my tributes to APJ Abdul Kalam ji, and the legacy of leading this nation philosophically in the area of thought traditions, literature, and even public affairs is a very rich legacy. And I perhaps cannot begin my speech without referring to the great philosopher poet Thiruvalluvar, also Bharatiya Subramanya Bharati, and a very remarkable thinker, politician of this land, K. Kamaraj. This is the conference on integral humanism, and there are three moot questions which I am sure many academicians and students here must have in their minds, at the top of their mind in fact. The first one is, what is this integral humanism? Who was this Pandit Deendayal Upadhyaya? Why should we celebrate the 60 years or the 60th anniversary of the presentation of integral humanism? And when we are technologically advancing after the first 25 years of the current century, we are entering in a new era where all emerging technologies are staring at us as to what would happen when this artificial intelligence, virtual reality and things like that. How futuristic is the thinking that comes to us through integral humanism? To start with, let me tell you that Pandit Deendayal Upadhyaya, or rather Thiru Deendayal Upadhyaya, was a thinker politician. He is known for three things. Number one, his emphasis on value-based politics. We know everywhere in India how caste becomes a very dominant factor, especially in the electoral arena in politics. And Deendayal was perhaps one of the few politicians who said that even though I may be fetching many more votes if I identify myself with a particular community, I am not going to do that because I don't want votes on the basis of my caste, something very remarkable. The second important aspect of his contribution was he provided an indigenous philosophical basis to politics. Many political parties during his time, I mean his prime years were the decade of the 60s in our country. And at that point of time, there were many other political parties who had their philosophical base, ideological base. And as students of politics, you know that ideology and philosophy later on shapes public policy. So ideological and philosophical basis of those existing political parties were basically the thinking that generated in a foreign land. Whether it was communism, socialistic thinking or anything similar, that didn't have the fragrance of the soil of this particular land. And therefore, that was his remarkable contribution. And third one was his concern about building capacities of politicians. It is very required. Simply getting elected is not enough. You have to build the ability to deliver efficient statecraft in a democratic setting. And therefore, we have to remember Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay, Q. Deendayal Upadhyay for his significant contributions. Now coming to integral humanism, remember in those days, I'm talking about the first 50 years of the last century, there were many thinkers, philosophers who had influenced public mind all over the world. The first one, although he belonged to the 17th century, he was René Descartes. And he is known for his idea of mind-body dualism, which led to some kind of a fragmentation thinking later on. Thinking in space, thinking in fragmented, thinking with a fragmented approach. And Deendayal challenged this fragmented approach, which is why integral humanism. Another important political philosopher at that point of time was Karl Marx, and we know him for Marxist ideology, Marxist thinking. And his principal approach was that welfare and social change can happen only with the intervention of the state. So which is considered as statism for social change. Deendayal said that state alone has its own limitations. Society is much more powerful than the state, and therefore society as an autonomous unity, autonomous entity will have to drive every kind of social change. The third was Charles Darwin, and we know Darwin for his theory. Survival of the fittest. Pandit Deendayal Upadhyay challenged this and said that survival of the fittest is a kind of a rule of the genders, and for humanity, every other individual has the right to survive, and therefore those who are fit, in fact, need to provide every kind of support to those who are weak and feeble. So these were the principal philosophers who presented different theories, and it was Theo Deendayal Upadhyay who challenged them in 1965 through a series of addresses, speeches which he delivered in Mumbai. Coming to the second point, what is exactly integral humanism? I mean, the name is very, that way, suggestive, very clear, very evocative, that you have to look at human beings with an integral approach. You cannot separate various parts of human life, various segments of human life, and then think about them in splits, in pieces. His approach was that without having an integral approach, integral vision to look at the entire human life, we will not be able to appreciate the challenges that humanity is facing, and therefore this is required. And he didn't kind of invent it. It is very much there in our Indian philosophy. About which even Thiruvalluvar has written in his own way, of course. And I will later on explain this briefly. But the continuations of integral humanism are basically based on 4 pillars. The first one is aspects of human life, individual life, which are about our mind, our intellect, our body, and our soul. And when we think of an individual and his welfare, his well-being, his development, you have to think of the development of his mind, development of his body, development of his intellect, and also the development of his soul. Simply thinking about body is not enough. Today, in the era of social media, and I'm sure many of you must be there on Instagram and maybe Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. A fundamental transformation in our approach that has happened is to appear good has become more important than being good. So everybody tries to appear good. Even in a small village in Tamil Nadu, you will come across a beauty parlor and a gym. Basically to acquire a gym-toned body, not for health's sake, unfortunately. So what Deen Dayal says is, simply taking care of body is not enough. It may help you appear good perhaps. But you will have to be psychologically, emotionally also healthy. So take care of your mind, your body, your intellect, which are supposed to take care of, and eventually your soul. The second aspect was about what is called as, in our scriptures, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. If I translate it into English, it is our righteousness, our consciousness towards our duties, which is Dharma. Dharma is religion, remember that. Resourcefulness, which is Artha. Because for well-being you require financial support, you require resources. And therefore they are equally important. After acquiring righteousness, after pursuing the value which is life, you also have to have resourcefulness. Thirdly, you cannot undermine the importance of worldly pleasures. Life is not asceticism kind of sacrifice everything. No. You have to enjoy life also in a structured manner, in the framework which has been set by Dharma, which is righteousness. And therefore worldly pleasures which you can purchase through resources. And lastly, your spiritual quest. And therefore Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha was the second pillar. The third pillar was, how do we relate with the society? And here comes the importance of relationship. Today, relationship is one of the most talked about subjects amongst the youth and students I am aware. But we are talking about the relationship of a particular level, of a different level. What is this relationship an individual has with the society, with Mother Nature, and eventually with our spiritual consciousness? Vyashti, Samashti, Srushti, and Parameshti, which is the last. So naturally, individual cannot be thought of minus society. He is a part of the society. And remember, in India, our balancing out of individualism and collectivism is something very, very remarkable. In our families, unlike the English people, we don't have just cousins and aunts and uncles. Every other relationship has a particular title, maternal uncle, we call it mama in Hindi, in Tamil also there is a particular title, cha-cha, or the paternal uncle for that matter. So every relationship is important under the umbrella of a family. So collectivism. Again, Mother Nature. Globally, just about 40 years before, they started talking about sustainability. In India, it is our day-to-day practice. Many of us start our day by seeking apology from Mother Earth. Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam, Padas Parashamam Namastubhyam. Oh Mother Earth, I am going to put my feet on you now because I cannot help it. And therefore, please forgive me. That is what our scriptures tell us. So, sustainability is very much a part of our thinking. We never talked about conquest over nature. We talked about confluence with Mother Nature. Samanvaya as involved. And the fourth one is about the pattern of human life. How to lead life. That is also there in our scriptures. But it is there, we just put all these things together and theorize them and presented what is called as integral humanism. And what are the parts of human life? Brahmacharyashram, which is basically to pursue the cause of our development, of our education, basically, first 25 years is Brahmacharya, so that you concentrate on your studies, your well-being, your health. Then Grihastha goes getting into the Vedas. You have to discharge your duty as Grihastha. Then Vanaprastha, because you have to be conscious of the Prishti also, the Mother Nature also. And finally, Sannyasa, which is you in a way liberate yourself from all other things and then pursue your spiritual quest. So this is something which is about integral humanism, to put it in simpler terms. And therefore, my friends, let me also point out over here that as our governor of Bihar, who was earlier in Kerala, puts it very beautifully. In India, we obviously understand the journey for several millennia of Indian culture and therefore we call it Nitya Nutan Chirapura. Every time it is new, but every time it is very old. And therefore he tells, APJ Abdul Kalam our Bihar governor has Ali Muhammad Khan had once described it that Indian culture is ever aging but never old. How beautifully it has been put by. This is Indian culture. And therefore, whatever they have told us to integral humanism has its roots in the thinking of several our philosophers, including Thiruvalluvara. Thiruvalluvara has talked about self-discipline, honesty, equality, and harmony. Self-discipline during the first 25 years of Brahmacharya ashram, honesty and equality as you pursue your Grihastha ashram, as you start your personal life, and harmony with nature and with your spiritual consciousness when you pursue Vanaprastha ashrama or Sannyasa ashrama. Again, it mirrors later on what Pandit Dayal said. Thiruvalluvara also has said about Arama, which is virtue, Parula, which is wealth, and Nimba, which is love. If I have pronounced it correctly, this is Tamil and I know. So the point I am trying to make is that there is continuity. Whether Shankaracharya, whether Thiruvalluvara, whether our modern philosophers like Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan himself came from Tamil Nadu and later on became the President of India. All these people, or Swami Vivekananda for that matter, there is a commonality in their approach, and if we try to understand, I am sure we will be able to capture the essence of integral humanism. Lastly, integral humanism takes us to move towards Antyodaya. There was a reference to Antyodaya. What is Antyodaya? To put it simply, Antyodaya means considering that the most deprived is the most deserving when it comes to the distribution of the fruits of development. Whom should the fruits of development go? The answer is very clear. The most deprived. Who is so weak, so feeble, so powerless that he cannot come forward. So bring him forward and let him benefit out of development. That is Antyodaya. Let us ourselves, when we talk about developed India, Viksit Bharat, this cannot happen if sections of the society, marginalized, peripheral, underprivileged, deprived, so on and so forth, they continue to be neglected by the society. And therefore governments alone cannot do anything. Of course, they will have to provide good governance. And integral humanism gives a philosophical framework out of which we can create policy. It is not for no reason that the government at the center, led by Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, try to reach out to the deprived section through a slew of welfare programs. Whether it is Ujjwala or a program basically to help the hawkers, for example, a very neglected section of the society, or the farmers, or people coming from underprivileged sections who require help for their wellness, for their well-being, when they are hospitalized. So all these schemes, all these welfare programs are basically aimed at Antyodaya, which is the ultimate goal of integral humanism, if I have to put it that way. And therefore, friends, we have to walk what Thiru Deen Upadhyaya had taught. He had presented a roadmap for all of us. He had shown the way. Let us together work hard, work resolutely, and take this motherland of ours, Bharat Mata, about which Bharatiya Subramanya Bharati has described elaborately. Let all of us come together and take this Mother India towards a developed Bharat, a Vikasit Bharat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for throwing light on the ideology of Pandit Deen Upadhyaya ji and how integral humanism and your contributing effect talk is an eye opener for all the youngsters. Thank you.
ஒருங்கிணைந்த மனிதநேயம் குறித்த அருமையான சிறப்புரை வழங்கிய முனைவர் வினய் சஹஸ்ரபுத்தே ஐயா அவர்களுக்கு நன்றிகள். உயர்கல்வித்துறையில் 30 ஆண்டுகளுக்கும் மேலாக சேவையாற்றி வரும் கல்வியாளர், வணிக மேலாண்மை மற்றும் நிர்வாகத் துறையில் முனைவர், கல்வியின் மூலம் கிராமிய சமூகத்தை முன்னேற்றுவதில் நம்பிக்கையுடன் ஈடுபட்டுள்ள மனிதநேயர், தமிழ்நாடு அரசின் சிறந்த ஆசிரியர் விருது, சிறந்த ஆராய்ச்சியாளர் விருது உள்ளிட்ட பல்வேறு சிறப்புகளை பெற்றவர். திண்டுக்கல் காந்தி கிராமிய கல்வி நிறுவனத்தின் மரியாதைக்குரிய துணைவேந்தர் முனைவர் என் பஞ்சநாதம் அவர்களை வாழ்த்துரை வழங்க வருமாறு பணிவன்புடன் அழைக்கிறோம்.
May I request Dr. N. Panjanathan, Vice Chancellor of Anandam University to deliver the teaching address.
Honorable Academic Governor of Tamil Nadu and the late Chancellor of Universities of Tamil Nadu, and he himself is a great example for integral humanism, its applications in governance, and people who visit government office will be knowing, will be experiencing such a great governor, sir. Most respected keynote speaker, Saraswati ji, all the way from Delhi, President of Indian Council for Cultural Relations, now dynamic Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. G. Ravi, who has made this university to have many more credentials to this university, such a dedicated educated Professor Sindhura, the Registrar of the University. All activities of Pandit Deen Upadhyaya ji, not only activities reach the writers, All those things are being implemented under the leadership of Professor Ramaniam. Our good leader, Dr. Malaika is here, and another respected public, very scientific community of the great institutions and teachers, friends, invitees, இந்தியாவிலேயே அருமையான அன்பான அறிவான மாணவர்களே, I will not take much of your time. I am also getting ready to visit Governor Ji. But this integral humanism, this is to be everybody practiced, it is being practiced by all of us. Only thing we need to strengthen it. We all together convey our tribute to Abdul Kalam Ji. That's what the last word our speaker spoke, Antyodaya. The last person of the society should be taken up. Our government, thanks to Government of India, even the Delhi goes to Antyodaya. No other everybody can. The last person can enjoy from the Hammer of the thanks to our Minister of India and the Government of India. So Antyodaya, we practice the last, taking the last person to the highest position. Similarly, Abdul Kalam Ji, when he occupied the position of President of India, and President of India when he became a Tamil comedian, poet wrote that we need to eat of this country, when he was giving newspapers to every house, 7 years, 8 years, the train even sometimes don't stop, they throw the papers, he gathers books and gives them everywhere. But such a boy came, President of India, all papers, newspapers all over the world, they write, the missile man of the country has become President of India. That the Tamil poet writes, வீடாக பேப்பர் போட்டவருடைய போட்டவை பேப்பராக உலகம் முழுவதும் போடுகிறார்கள். Humanists, Sri Pandit Dindayal Jadamaji, Dindayal Ji has told, this is what he has told, and he says that chitti, he has like the word chitti. It is like a personality. We have personality. Punjab, we have got coat, suit, sometimes comb here, doing this and that. This is the individual's personality. But he says, it is the personality of the country. If you go to the governors or even last week, Professor Day, he was recognizing, addressing, giving awards to those who are winning NIR top 20 ranks. Top 20 rank. The last he told the closing remark, I requested all of you to join for the financial society governance. This is the identity. This is the culture. This is the personality of the nation. If you go to any other country, in all countries, nobody waits for lunch. Nobody waits. This is the identity of that. That's what integral humanism says. It is a chitti. It means the reflection of the personality of Bharat. எல்லாருடைய சிவரே போற்றி எந்நாட்டவருக்கு இறைவா போற்றி வசதியை கொடுப்பவர். This is the only country Bharat says everybody born in the world should be part of our family. We are all one family. One family. If somebody starts in some other country, we feel very bad. We are not able to. Not only simply feeling. Thanks to our Prime Minister of India, our Government of India, when we were all suffering during the period of COVID, it not only he took care of us, but also immediately made vaccines to us to 7 countries. And our Prime Minister of India does not know who was protected, who was given second life. He does not know the name, but every country, every nation, all of you take some like, but Gomil also gave us very good lesson. Satyavati is here, in Annapurna we have a temple. Whenever they open once for 3 days during COVID period, we have to go and do Archana. The Archana, Mr. President, we do Archana for me, my wife, my son. And many people did Archana for servant maid, iron, a person who is doing ironing, who is doing vegetable researching, for all those things, people they do Archana. We used to ask who are you doing Archana with God for others. They said that if they are not affected by COVID, we also will not be affected by COVID. So my servant maid should not get COVID. My person who is doing ironing for me should not get COVID. The person who is selling vegetable should not get COVID. Integral humanism. That is what Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyaya says many years ago, and that's reflected in our governance. If you see, go to our governance office, like our President of India, and previous spiritual person, Navarani, will be celebrated, because I was there 3 years as a Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, more than the times, sometimes invited, sometimes uninvited, we go to governance office, and we take all Navaratri, Sundar, Vada, everything, whatever you give, spiritual, previous day. Next day, he organizes a great program on, His Excellency organizes a great program on artificial intelligence. Previous day, spiritual portion. Second day, AI, artificial portion. So that is how the balanced development is not the individual's development. The whole Bharat, it was like that, all come from Bihar. If you all go even today, you go to Bihar, you can see what Nalanda, 2000 years ago, 10,000 students were given individual accommodation. Even today, do not like university here, which are many individual accommodations for 10,000 people today. To Bharat was a great country, and 2,000 teachers. Students in those days itself, I think very like NEET. They all from various countries, Burma, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Malaysia, they all came here and visited. So this is integral humanism. And the next day, if you go to our government office, you can see even today, you go see the Bananas, great Bananas celebration. Why that is integral humanism. When somebody is starving, I take care of myself. It's not a good governance. That is the reason, thanks to the Honorable Government of India, see that so many human-centric schemes. So many schemes, some of them I read because of what I even presenting him. Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyaya National Welfare Fund for spokesperson. See the diversification, you see. Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gram Jyoti Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gramin Kaushalya Yojana, Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Shramdev Jayate Karya. Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Garibi Mukh Gram Yojana, and similarly Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Swaya Namaha. If you see most of the so many PMs schemes, if you all these around 100 schemes I have noted, if all these 100 schemes if you see, browse, read the meaning and the implementation side, ultimately you can see how the government of India takes us towards Viksit Bharat. Before this was not pronounced by our Honorable Government of India, Honorable Prime Minister, even we did not know the path. Where does it go? Where does it go? Now there is an objective, clear objective, 2047, India should be a developed country for which Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyaya's moral principles, particularly humanism, integral humanism, should be implemented through government. Then the real sustainable development will be there. As as a result, Viksit Bharat and all these children will be able to see the developed country. Friends, இங்கே காரைக்குடியில புல்லட் ட்ரெயின் போகும். நாங்க பார்க்க போறோமா இல்லையான்னு தெரியல. நீங்க எல்லாம் காரைக்குடியில புல்லட் ட்ரெயின் போகும். சொல்ல முடியாது. மாடியில ஏறப்படும் வந்து இறங்கும். மாடியில ஏறப்படும் வந்து இறங்கும். The speed with which the ladies of our government of India, of government of India goes, speed with which it goes sometimes, even when it is not very up to 2047 before that, the development country, you can see, for which that is very important. City is very important. City is the personality of the nation. Personality of the country. We all should imbibe that nation first. Nation first. The attitude of nation first alone, particularly all these young children, nation first alone will take us towards Viksit Bharat. That feeling we should have very beautifully. It was explained by our honorable keynote speaker. So, last one is Dharma. Dharma. Dharma, as rightly said, is not always related to religion. Dharma is our duty. Our duty. Even Fortune 500 companies, they have given a survey how they will get things done from employees, you know. Even there, 30% people are contributors. They do excellent contribution. Companies are growing. Another salary person, whatever the salary you give, I give it. Up to start doing it. Second. And 90% people even in Fortune 500 companies, they don't follow the Dharma. The Dharma means doing our duty that they simply come 2 times punching, 1 time lunch. 2 times punching, 1 time lunch. Take the salary and go. How can we reach it? How can we reach Viksit Bharat? So the Chitti and the Chitti represents, I'm not saying, just repeating what they have said and repeating what the visionary leader Pandit Deendayal Upadhyaya told, that the Chitti, the nation's personality first, nation first. And then students work to study. Teachers work, teaching. Even 100 years ago, military work to protect the nation. Even today, military work to protect the nation. Our duty is not changed. If we do our duty, then Chitti, the result is Viksit Bharat, that should be integrated with our day-to-day governance. It may be any office or house, it should be integrated. As a result, we will have sustainable development, we will have Viksit Bharat, we all can see a developed Bharat and take care of whole world. தனி ஒரு மனிதனுக்கு உறவில்லை என்றால் ஜகத்திலே அழைத்து விடுவோம். Somebody is not eating in Africa, somebody is not eating in Sri Lanka, we cannot tolerate Bharat. Such great ideals are only with the Bharat. So we take this opportunity to sincerely thank those organizers, particularly our Vice Chancellor of this university and this team for organizing a wonderful program. We all salute our President of India for taking us in the right path, and also sincerely thank our government chancellor for being a model to us and taking us as those Viksit Bharat. Thank you very much. We all will say all that we convey our gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for your inspiring felicitation address. Our Honorable Chancellor served in the Intelligence Bureau for over 3 decades, specializing in internal security, insurgency and counter-terrorism. As Governor of Nagaland, emphasized good governance, transparency and development peace in tribal region. As Governor of Tamil Nadu, he has advocated for cooperative federalism and youth empowerment. Education, innovation and skill development are the key initiatives
from the dais. We will eliminate Vice Chancellor, Professor G. Ravi, who is an excellent scientist as well, and the host of this event. Respected Dr. Vinay P. Sasagudde, a well-known public intellectual, parliamentarian, who has served in this nation in various capacities, and currently President of the Indian Council for Cultural Relations. Dr. N. Panchanathan, who is the Vice Chancellor, Gandhidham University Institute, Didigram, who is trying to rejuvenate, revitalize the Gandhian ideals through his institution. Professor B. Dhanalingam, Chairperson of Pandit Chair, located in this university. Registrar of this university, Professor S. S. Rajan, all the distinguished delegates, faculty, staff of this university, my dear students, gracious ladies and gentlemen, Anivarakum Vanakkam. Today is the birth anniversary of the great visionary leader, a great inspiration for the youth, and the one who led this country towards self-reliance and defense in national security, none other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who reached the pinnacle of his career as the president of this country, but he even thereafter continued inspiring the nations all over, motivating our youth how dream big, walk through fire. Nothing is impossible if you have a strong desire backed by a resolute determination to achieve it. I pay my humble tribute to this great son of this great country. Friends, I would like to thank the organizers for organizing the 2 days seminar where people will be talking about it, distinguished delegates will be sharing their thoughts, experiences on integral liberalism, how to translate it in good governance, how to translate it for sustainable development, so as we are able to achieve our national goal of a fully self-reliant, fully developed Bharat, Viksit Bharat 2047, by the time we can celebrate a centenary of our independence. Friends, the keynote speaker, Dr. Vinay Ji, has given a beautiful description of integral humanism, giving the clarity on this philosophical framework, how it touches all aspects of our life, and how it can lead to a harmonious, sustainable world. This Dr. Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, said, what he articulated within the framework of what is popularly called integral humanism is articulation of the foundational values of Bharatiya civilization, the core values that actually created this Rashtra we call Bharat several thousand years ago. In the time of Rigveda, our rishis explained the wisdom revealed in the Vedas and subsequently continued generations to generations. Rishis, saints, sages, poets, they continued interpreting those wisdom in contemporary context, making it easier for the people, the common masses to comprehend. The essential wisdom was that the entire creation, the individual, the collective, the creation, these all constitute one family. We are all sitting here, hundreds of us. We might be looking different, but essentially at the core we are all one. It's like a tiny seed. The seed as it grows, it grows into a banana tree. It has roots, deep roots. It has trunks, it has countless branches and millions of leaves and flowers and fruits. Each one appears different, but essentially it is all born of the same seed. It is all genetically connected, organically connected. So the individual, collective, and the entire creation, is not only humans, but plants and animals as well. We are all members of the one faith. And every element of creation, in every element of creation, divine permeates. It is every element is divine. This has an enormous capacity to embrace the diversity. We may be speaking various languages. Our food habit may be different. We might be living in different costumes. We might be living in different climates. But this concept of all being members of one family or Kutumba, this wisdom, this understanding, to bring it into our day-to-day life, our rishis, our saints, they worked very hard from time to time. And they brought it in our DNA, what we call our culture. It has an enormous capacity or an infinite capacity to embrace the diversity. It does not look at diversity as difference. It looks at a beautiful manifestation of the same. Look at a beautiful flower. It has hundreds of petals. No two petals are alike. But it is connectively, and no petal can exist outside the flower. They are all integrally part of it. And the beautiful, together, how beautiful. So this one apparently appears different, is essentially the diversity. It is a various manifestation of the same. And that is what breaks the monotony it looks beautiful, it makes the creation beautiful. So, when this thought is spread over the land, is spread by our rishis and sages and poets, who took it across from Kanyakumari to beyond Kashmir, Himalaya, from ocean to Himalaya. People began living together as a faith. These rishis also created a number of institutions all over Bharat. Numerous institutions. You know, Bharat, when I came here in Tamil Nadu, when I was talking, some people asked me, senior people asked me, Mr. Governor, tell me who was the ruler who ruled this country? All over the whole country. Nobody. Bharat was never ruled by any one ruler. But the concept that a country has to be ruled by a country becomes a country, maybe a country, but Bharat was a Rashtra. It had multiple rulers, multiple kings and multiple kingdoms, and yet within the kingdom of every king, there was one institution and then numerous institutions which was shared by all. They take the case, we have Rameshwar. Rameshwar located here, but who said to the of Brahmana? Could he say that it belonged to him? He couldn't. He was only a guardian, a caretaker. It belonged to whole Bharat. Kashi, it didn't belong to the king of Kashi. They were the caretakers, it belonged to the whole. So they created institutions, numerous institutions, like 12 Jyotirlinga, 51 Shakti Pita, 108 Divya Desha. They are all located all over Bharat and belongs to everyone. This is unique. This is a unique entity, and that is what is called Rashtra. Bharat Rashtra. That is how Bharat Rashtra is formed. Subsequently, over the years, things changed. Countries suffered, Bharat suffered, subjugation, colonization. And eventually, with the effort of millions and millions of our people, Bharatiyas, Indians, and sacrifice of thousands and thousands of our freedom fighters, lakhs of our freedom fighters, many got independence. The expectation was, because during independence, during colonization, what the colonizers, the British had done, they had created structures and systems of governance of this country to suit their interest. This country, or people of this country, they had their way of governance, their own governance. Villages governed themselves. Each village governed itself. Villages, the neighboring villages, they had a system of cooperation and collaboration. There was no need for them to look out to anyone beyond. There was no concept of modern state as we talked about, because the villages, by and large, they were sufficient. King's duty was to protect against any external aggression or in times of major national disaster or crisis. They were self-reliant. But when the British came, they created institutions of governance like district. There was no district concept before that. And why did they create district? They created district for collecting taxes. He created district and created institution of district collector as the most powerful person in that district. Levy taxes on people. They took entire land under heavy taxation. And to ensure that people must pay exorbitant taxes which they wanted, to assist and to assist the collector, intimidate the people, they created police. We had a concept of power here, but that was not like in the modern policing. What we had. Covers were not people who used to instill fear in the people. But this police that the British created, it was to intimidate people, to drive a sense of fear. So the sense of authority and fear, the British ruled and exploited this country. Contact between the people and the institution was a hostile contact, was not a comfortable contact. You had to mix up with fear or awe. When we became independent, the expectation was that now we will be free of all these. We will be having a system, a structure and system of governance to which the people of this country would relate, would feel comfortable to deal with. Because after all, the countless numbers who gave their life and countless numbers who suffered for freedom, they got the bought. They gave their life and suffered to be ourselves, to come back. They let this government be our government. Let the officials of the government be our people whom we connect. Unfortunately, after independence, we could not and did not create a structure and system of governance which could be called people-friendly. We continue with the same structure and system of governance, institution of district collector, institution of police, and people. And there were people who ran these offices were not the local people, they came from outside. Policies and plans were not framed by the people, but by the four representatives of the people by the state or the central government. And you implement it. Now, connect between the people and the government was just limited to us by the process you wrote, and we know what happened. When this mode, when we started moving forward after independence, nearly 2 decades, that Pandit Deendayal Upadhyaya, again one of that in the 60s was a great saints and rishis, who was perturbed, who also happened to be politician, especially he was a philosopher, he was a rishi, he was a saint, who articulated this several millennia old wisdom of Bharat, civilizational, foundational values of Bharatiya civilization that had created this nation, the Rashtra. He articulated it in a very compact manner and made it easier for people to comprehend, because some 200 years of colonizations and the system of education that the British had created, we had forgotten ourselves. He did it with an expectation that we would do the course correction. After independence, in an independent Bharat, we will have a government and a governing a structure and system which people of this country relate friendly. Today, even today, there are 80 years of independence. People do not feel comfortable going to police station. Do you feel comfortable? You know this? When you go to any office, let us say district collector office, there is a sense of you never know how the official will treat you down the line. Because that culture, which was inculcated during the British authority, it continues down the line. Now, with this is what happened. If you look at the effect of it, unfortunately we did not do any course correction for a very, very long time. We continued following those very policies and those very ways of governance through the institutions which by and large the British had created, which remained distinct from the people. At the time of independence, Bharat was the sixth largest economy in the world. At the time when the British took colonized India in the 18th century, Bharat was the largest economy of the world, number one economy. With all the exploration of nearly 200 years, still Bharat was the sixth largest economy. But in 2014, by the time we became the 11th economy, we became poorer. Over 30% of our people were in absolute poverty. And you know what absolute poverty means. One who doesn't have a roof over the head, and doesn't have food to feed the hunger, doesn't have access to medicine if he falls sick. We had over 30% of our people living in poverty, absolute poverty, till 2014-15. The world had started counting India as among the top fragile countries in the world. We were populous, but insignificant. We kept the model of development, model of abundance, not ours, which was not originated here, which did not resonate with the people. What we did? Since the time of the very first decade, we have started 5-year plan. So when we started 5-year plan of development, you know how it work? It worked, okay. Government will provide welfare facilities like we will provide public health, public education, public transport they will build, they will start building powers, electricity and all. So they make it, we have this much resource, this many schools we will build, this many hospitals we will build, this many kilometers of roads we will build, this much power we will generate, incremental. Now this is incremental approach to development and growth. It did not solve our problem, instead our problem continued to multiply. We built the roads, but the large part of our country remained inaccessible. We built hospitals, but yet a large part of our people were out of reach of this kind of services. A large number of people were homeless. There was no health cover to the poor, large number of poor people. So this incremental approach that we will provide to so many, rest others wait. Imagine. In our constitution, those of you who have studied, and many of you I'm sure at this preliminary must have read, it made a promise that Bharat will be a country there, the people will be having justice. We see that they will have equality of opportunity. They will live in fraternity. But when you 75 years you have crossed, and you find that yet 30% of the people, 75 years is what? That is 3 generations. So what is the meaning of this independent Bharat? for those people, those who had no access to food, shelter, basic education, basic health care, what was the need for that? You know, we had terribly lost the way. But in 2014, a course correction happened. For the first time, an independent Bharat, we got a government, we got a leader who fundamentally changed the course of this country. Today, on every parameter that we say proudly, we are no longer, we don't feel hesitant to be when we go out and we are Indians. We know that from 11th we have become the 4th largest economy, and everyone knows that. Even the British Prime Minister who was under there a few days, he was there, says India is going to be the 3rd largest soon. In every field, how this transformation happened? And if you look at closely how this happened, then you see integral humanism in action. Integral humanism in action. Now, what does integral humanism, which is essentially articulation of the core foundational values of our civilization? It says that we are all a kudumba, one family. If we are one family, suppose any of us, in our family, suppose if 2 or 3 persons fall sick, can we say that no, I will treat this guy, 2 of them will wait, I will not do that, you will not do that, surely you will not do that. If we have a food, can we say that okay, limited food, can we say no, there's so many people will eat and so many will not eat. No, it cannot do it. It cannot do it. The question is, do you treat, did the rulers of this country realize that this country is a family? Now what happened after 2003, after Prime Minister Modi came? You look at it. First ensure that every citizen of this country must have all the basic ingredients of a dignified living. When I say basic ingredients of a dignified living, means a roof over the head, build the homes of the homeless. Now over 4 crores houses has been built. Homes as a heaven for the houses, homes has been built. For the homeless, it is near saturation. It is not that at this point we will have to build 2 lakh houses and 3 lakh houses. So houses have to be built for every citizen who is homeless. Every citizen must have access to health care. No question of I will give this much and that much next. No, every citizen must have. And within no time, within years, we got 40 crore Ayushman cards. Every poor person has now Ayushman card with a family insured for 5 lakhs rupees. You can go and she can go for treatment and have it paid. And not only that, the healthcare, making it a holistic, is not only building more number of medical colleges, building more number of primary health centers, upgrading the primary health centers to health and wellness centers, but also our indigenous alternative medicines, Ayurveda, Ayush, Siddha. People use great wisdom. So parallelly, there is a boost to our indigenous medicine system. So much so that we copied the whole world realized India's indigenous medical system. And today, our our reduced products export has gone beyond $20 billion. This is, and then making medicine cheaper. Medicines accessible to the poor man. Creating generosity Kendra. At the time, 2014, there were less than 400 generosity Kendra in the country. Today we have more than 17,000 generosity Kendra in the country. And you know, they go all these generosity Kendra, generic drugs. Generic drugs which are almost nearly 1/10 or 1/8 of the branded price. The branded medicine that will cost for 100 rupees, you get for 10 rupees. With the same effect. Expanding it. Look at the innovative measure. Look at integral humanism in action. Every man, every citizen of this country must have access to health care. It's not only that everyone has got Ayushman card with 5 lakh insurance. Make medicine cheaper. Ensure that preventive health care is taken care of. As a result, all our primary health centers upgraded to health and wellness center with a complete scanning of our citizens so that any lifestyle disease is something going to happen if you know you are alerted in advance and you attend to that. Fitness. Emphasis on sports, fitness, yoga. Now the whole world accepted yoga. Now, emphasis on fitness, emphasis on cleanliness. You know, in 2014, 60% of our country people used to go for open education. It is a public health issue. Of course, it is also an issue of security and dignity for our mothers and sisters. If you don't have a toilet in the house. Now today, every house of this country has got a toilet. Not today, it was 1987. Within 5 years, it happened. Every house got a toilet. Every institution got a toilet. Every school got girls' toilet. We all talked about girl education, girl empowerment. But why in the other university we must make our schools, colleges and offices conducive for women to go and work there or study there? We didn't build toilets. How did we do? We didn't think of it. Because the rulers could not relate with them. For them, they were not their failures. We talked about Ankim Jadar. Mahatma Gandhi used to say, last man. Last man was all these years ago until now. That when this coverage, this happened, the Ayushman card, and all these facilities, health coverage, education access, home to homeless, there is no excuse. And then, finally, something which we, when the Prime Minister got to know, that among the tribals, there is a community, the whole community, their population is 170 lakhs. Imagine. In a country of 145 crore, 70 lakhs is nothing. In our Tamil Nadu, there are about 10 lakhs, not even just about 1% of population. They do not count in our electoral calculation, electoral politics, so that they remain even today. There are people, when I travel to tribal areas, I know that they have no identity, there is no document, nothing to prove that they are our brothers and sisters. They are homeless, many of them are homeless because there is no land pattern there. They don't have a small piece of land with a small hut. We have this. And this happens more than one, I have seen more than one tribes. So the Prime Minister launched a program for PBTs, particularly vulnerable tribal groups. We have 70 lakhs. Now these 70 lakhs people have been ignored for 75 years, they could have been ignored for more time, and they could have been in power. But no, they are our brothers and sisters. Their pain is my pain. I must feed it. The sense of Kudumbu and Parimal. So, as a kid, now every time they involve, it has to be, they have to be brought up. And all with the rest. development and growth. It was made inclusive. Earlier in the socialistic pattern of development, when this estate war had guardians, Maya, it was a client-patron relations. People had to beg to the British, people used to go and beg to these offices. No, it was not. It was compromising the dignity of the people. Imagine, for long people with a ration card, going to the ration shop and getting last minute turned away, we don't have it, go. I have seen, it's not far off, many of you also have seen, those who want to comes a marriage in the house for a bag of rice, you have to go from office to office to office to office to get a permit. To get a bag of rice. You are paying for it, but not you have to. So getting a phone connection, you go and start MLA, MPs, ministers. Cooking gas connection, you go to MP, go to ministers. Now cooking gas in every house. Our brothers and sisters all have got food and an outdoor. And they say they don't have their eyes. They must have it. Dignity. This is integral humanism in action. You take the home as a field. Everything. Enterprise. Earlier, private enterprise was completely disguised. Everyone who starts a business is a thief. You will start suspecting the person. Because socialistic mind, a state and an estate alone can provide. Because if the private people will start providing, they will start making money and all. But look at where we reached. System got completely corrupted. Delivery could not happen. We had a Prime Minister who on record in public meeting said there was 1 rupee of benefit is given to a person. By the time it reaches the beneficiary, it becomes 15% because 85% are eaten away by the people in it. It was all corruption, middlemen, discharging. What Prime Minister Modi did? He first ensured that we have a very robust digital public infrastructure. Every individual house has an academic account, zero bank account. For long, having a bank account was a mark of prosperity. No, everyone must be included it. All members of society must be. So we did we got a universal capitalism bank account. Our was made robust. And of course, this is a wide engineering hand. This is reality. We became such a robust digital public infrastructure that when a benefit is to be transferred to a beneficiary, it doesn't have to pass through middlemen. It will go direct to the bank account. A farmer who gets Kisan Samman Nidhi, periodically, he or she doesn't have to go to any place. On a particular day, he gets his bank account to save and everything else. It made it so smooth, so seamless, and beneficiaries were spared of being humiliated in the government offices. This is integral humanism in action. Enterprise, this country of 145 crore large country. Enterprise is inherent in every individual. Unskilled, semi-skilled, or skilled. Give them opportunity, let them come forward. And how do you give them opportunity? Take the case of Tamil Nadu. In Tamil Nadu, one of the schemes which launched in the country without any discrimination all over the country was Mudra Loan. Mudra Loan means collateral free loan. If I go earlier than go to the bank, you ask for a loan, you have to pledge some property. I don't have property. How do I get money? Because I need money for do some business. Mudra loan is free. Collateral free. So, in Tamil Nadu, there are about 2 crore Mudra loan beneficiaries. 2 crore people of Tamil Nadu have taken Mudra loan. And nearly half of them are women. And what are they doing? I have seen many of them. Because whenever I visit, I do often, I meet in the rural areas beneficiaries. They are women, taking about 1 or 2 lakhs rupees. Nothing else, buys 2-3 cows, 4 cows, and staying there. The women who have no access to raise money now, she is not only by purchasing, keeping a few cows, taking this collateral free loan, is earning, has improved her own earnings, gives her self-pride, self-esteem, making her capable to look after her children well, but she also gives employment to 1 lakh at least to come and earn. Some of them started bought sewing machines, they got together and they started providing, this STC, clothes, garments and providing in the local market. They are doing it this very state. Some of them started setting up a small tea shop, coffee shop. Now this enterprise, imagine, it was unthinkable before. These 2 crore people, those who have taken this Mudra loan, which was not possible before, because these people had no bank account. They had no money to go for getting the bank loan. Today it was made possible. And all these people are now adding to the national wealth. National wealth. Earlier in Parliament, only government will give you power. How will the government give? They produce degree holders, certificate holders. You get the degree, graduate, postgraduate engineer, and you go in line, okay, give me a job. How humiliating. I know in our state we have a doctor, a PhD holder doing excavating and cleaning job. Not that the job is bad. No, it's not bad. Every job is respectable. But is it commensurate with his or her qualification? A PhD is expected to do research or teach in the pursuit of higher knowledge. Not the job which can be done by somebody else. That is our education system. We will not process it. Now get your first second. No. Useless knowledge there is nowhere. National education policy. National education policy is integral humanism in action. Every individual who passes a school, high school, forget about college, must come out with a confidence to earn living. Doesn't have to be dependent to look for job. Beg for job. Can create job. No, this massive transformation that's distributed. It is nothing about an integral humanism in action. Every plan, every action, there will be policy. You will see. Look at it carefully. It is an integral humanism in action because we all have faith. We are one faith. All the laws of distinction and differences, they are put together, essentially together in faith. It increases growth. India is offering an immediate model in the whole world. That India has come from 11th to the 4th largest economy, soon going to be the 3rd. And the world acknowledges in the report, you might have read, about 6 months back, a report came there and they said, India is the most equitable society in the world in terms of economic growth. So India's growth is not built on capitalistic model, which is predatory. A few people make all the wealth, and the rest you just ignore. This is not Darwinian. That if somebody is poor, this is by virtue of the person is incapable, let him perish. neither socialistic, where a state has all the might, all the power, individuals are all at the mercy of the state, but it is an order built on Bharatiya civilizational values, where every individual lives with dignity as a productive member of the society. Now, this fundamental change, transformation has happened. In every field today, we talk about this modern and inclusive, including everyone. Women, youth, farmers, fishermen, Vishwakarmas, tribals, particularly vulnerable tribal groups, everyone. At the same time, look at the intellectual level, startups. Imagine, today we have more than 10,000 adult tinkering labs in our schools. Our high school students can tinker with the ideas and create something, do the experiment. Innovation. Innovation is the key word. The spirit which was latent, dormant in our youth is now blossoming. And from nowhere, we have reached the top 3 startup ecosystem in the world. In every field of science and technology, we are among the top in the world. Not many countries there, we are among the top 3 in the world. In terms of digital communication, we are not only that we have 5G, we have planned by 2030, we will have own digital 6G. So what I have to take care of every member of the society, every member of the country, at the same time moving forward in the domain of science, technologies and knowledge. Material prosperity, intellectual prosperity, all going together. Body, mind, intellect, and then cultural intelligence and spiritual intelligence. The institutions which kept this country together for thousands of years has been decayed, neglected. Those institutions are being rejuvenated. People are not very shy going to those institutions. In fact, when I came, I found there were many people who were shy of going to temples. Why? I am happy to see that people there are very proud of it. Cultural researchers, we know that how Tamil, the land of Tamil and Kashi, how connected they are. Vice Chancellor Tujaratan mentioned about Tennadude, Sevule Potri, Ennadude, Rima Potri. This is the land of Shiva. And Shiva's abode is Kashi. How to connect? Kashi is every year, thousands of people go and celebrate and come back. Spiritually rejuvenated, culturally connected, and carrying the sense of pride in being a Bharatiya. I am the Rajbhavan had a small initiative and benefit or a privilege that all those who come, I ask them to write their experiences and conduct an event at the Rajbhavan. I tell you, this year, 2025, it was 2024, it's still over to 2025 because of Mahakumbh. 1,000 participants, those who had gone from Tamil Nadu to Kashi, they shared their experience. What a beautiful narration. Some of them had videos clipping, some of them they had put the photo, they had made the class, and a beautiful narration. And everybody commented it must be at least 1,000 words. And you know the number of words is not a very small piece. They all connect their experience. It tells you how rejuvenation happens. Say, more than 66 of the people went to Mahakumbh. Who were they? They were invited. They never went. No one went. They all went because this place belonged to them. And they felt it was time for them to go. Not only from here, people from across the world. Bhartiyas from across the world came and did. This is enriching the soul. Body, mind, intellect and soul. This is Resurgent Bharat. And this Resurgent Bharat is moving with confidence that in the next 2.5 decades, we have to be where we are destined to be. We have to be intellectually the leader of the world, materially prosperous to share the prosperity of the world, and especially rich with compassion that we treat everyone as a friend. This individual humanism is reflected in our international policies, foreign policies. Just a few years back when we had G20, what was the motto? Motto was Yadamure Yamke Vasudhaiva Kurumbaka. One earth, one family, one future. What is singular humanism? It is this. One earth, one family, one future. This is the core foundation of our India's foreign policy. So today you find integral humanism in action in every aspect of government functioning, government policies, whether it is development, whether it is economic, whether it is security, whether it is international relations. Everywhere. Now, in 2 days Congress, which it has begun today, our responsibility is to innovate, to think in what wrong we first of all, to create a large awareness. Then what we are doing, we are feeding, we must also understand in the broader concept that how it is linked with our civilizational values. It is how it is linked with our identity, who we are. And in what new ways we can take it forward. We can innovate new ways by which Bharat can grow to our destiny. And I'm sure distinguished delegates and participants in the 2 days journey will bring up a lot of cream, a lot of thoughts, which will be helpful not only to the students, not only participants, but it will also help all of us to read and learn from what you have produced in these 2 days. And I wish all of you the very best, very productive today's session. Thank you very much. Bye.
நன்றிகள். நாம் பல்கலைக்கழகத்தின்
in the area of intellectual humanism and an upliftment of every individual in the society. First and foremost, I express our heartfelt gratitude to our advisor, the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu and Chancellor of Allahabad University for gracing this occasion and delivering the presidential address. Sir, your inspired words on the life, values and the relevance of fundamental Vidyalaya have truly enlightened and motivated us with the spirit of selfless services and national integrity. Sir, after Dhanyavad, our sincere thanks to Dr. Vinay P., President of Indian Council for Cultural Relations, for the special address, sir. Your thoughtful insight into the culture and philosophical dimension of Panditji life have added the growth and the in-depth in the meaning of today's program. Thank you, sir. And we deeply thankful to Dr. N. Kanchanaraman, the Vice Chancellor of Bandram Rural Institute, for his kind felicitation and also sharing the valuable reflections on the rural development and human values. Ideas of Pandit Deenayal Upadhyaya is cherished and also gave a lot of ideas also how to lead a life in industry. Thank you, sir. We place on record our gratitude to our beloved Honorable Professor G. Ravi sir, Vice Chancellor of our university, for inspiring medical address and for leading this institution with vision, dedication, and a strong commitment to holistic education, especially about higher education. And I thank you, sir. I thank the Controller of Examiner and also the Dean, and head of the department, especially the syndicate members, and all the heads of the department, especially of the university. Thank you, Ananda. And a special thanks to Professor Dharmendra sir for contributing to coordinating and supporting this wonderful event. And also, I thank Professor sir. And also thank our sincere appreciation to all faculty members, the students, my dear students, and the guests who came and also contributed to making this program a grand success. Finally, I heartfelt thanks to the organizing committee, technical staff, hospitality team, press, media, and everyone who worked tirelessly behind this scene. Let us all carry forward the noble message of Pandit Deenayal Upadhyaya to build a nation very strong and also relevant and inclusive India. Thank you all once again.
Let us all stand for national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष माहे